One and all. This is the Peace Dealer, and this is the 33rd episode of Peace Talk, a very special number. And I have a very, very special guest. Welcome, Brie. How are you doing, Brie?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on. This was awesome. I'm excited.
That's how you say your name, right, Brie?
Yep, Brie Marie.
Brie Marie. Nice,
Yep.
nice. I think this is cool too because to me, 33 is like a number for Virgo, and that's your zodiac sign.
Oh, yeah. That's so interesting. I love the number 33. It reminds me of like the Ascended Masters and the master numbers, obviously. But I didn't even think of it as Virgo.
Yeah, it's not necessarily an official correlation. I always just have seen Virgos as the masters of consciousness and just that master correlation. When I see 33, then yeah.
I like the way that you say that because in my mind, I sometimes think I'm a master at things.
So, I mean, as y'all could see, she's very vibrant. You know, she just had, I'm sure the whole Virgo clan, you have Jupiter, Sun, Mercury. How are you feeling that energy? How was this whole Jupiter transit for you?
Oh, man. It's a lot and it's awesome. And actually my Jupiter is in Libra and I don't exactly, so obviously Jupiter is going out of Virgo right now, but I'm wondering how it affects Libra, like since we're going into it right now, but I'm totally feeling like this intense energy and a lot of new routine coming in and just huge shifts. Yeah, it's a lot. And my birthday is this Sunday, so that's pretty cool too.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that Jupiter and Libra transit too. I've already noticed a lot of people wanting to collaborate and work together, whereas before we were just so focused on working on ourselves. Mm-hmm. So definitely looking forward to that.
Totally, because obviously with Libra, it's like partnership. And let's come together and let's work on this together. And my mom is a Libra, so I've learned so much about Libras over the years. But Virgo is something that I never felt like I was. Whenever I was younger, I was like, why am I a Virgo? But it makes more sense now.
What are three things you love about Libra and three things you hate about Libra?
Okay. Three things that I love is they always want to include people or do something with other people and collab with other people. Another thing that I love is that they're so lovey and they seem very romantic and just, oh, I want to do this with you. And
they're so artistically romantic. You're right.
Yeah. And what's another thing? All Libras that I know seem to be very into design and they can put things together like fashion wise or interior design or anything like that. And I'm like, wow, you did that so perfectly. Like that looks great. And I haven't been able to do that, it seems. And then three things that I don't like about Libra is they're so undecisive. So undecisive. I swear every time I go out with a Libra, it's like, should I get this or should I get this? And it really doesn't matter. Just get what you want.
Yeah.
The second thing is it seems like they're always trying to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's bad or anything, but most of my Libra friends that I have, it's like they jump from relationship to relationship to relationship. And I'm like, so are you ever going to like be with yourself? Time alone.
Wow.
And then the third thing, what would be the third thing? I don't even know a third thing.
I'll say a third thing.
Yeah, say it.
One thing I dislike about Libra is they're very friendly. So when you get to know them, you think, wow, this person like is really cool. And then when they're with other people who are probably like more popular or like known, they'll act like they don't know you real quick.
I've actually seen that before, or I've seen where they try and be friends with everyone, where they're trying to be cool with everyone when really they don't want to be, or something like that. I guess it's that balance in them. Like, let's see the beauty in everyone, which I do that too sometimes.
They remind me of the character in Mean Girls who like went down the cafeteria and they just know like all the different groups. They know who's the most popular, who's the least popular. Like they just know everyone.
It's so funny. So funny.
So what's your sun and your moon? I mean your moon and your rising. Now that
so my moon is Cancer and my rising is Gemini. And, yeah. And I actually since whenever I was growing up, since I never thought of myself as a Virgo, I was like, I'm just gonna go by Gemini. I'm telling everybody that I'm a Gemini because I just felt so much more like a Gemini than anything. Like, I love conversation, I love writing, I love talking. I'm a social butterfly. But I realized that that's my mask, you know, like I mean, I do that in general, but I guess that's how I come off whenever I meet people.
Okay.
Yeah. But then whenever I'm with myself, I'm like completely in my thoughts, analyzing, super analytical, and my emotions just never seem to come out sometimes. Like they do, but they're like hidden. I don't know. It's weird.
That is very interesting and counterintuitive because, you know, you would think cancers are over emotional, but the Cancer moons that I've seen, at least that aren't water signs, like you would never guess that they they don't really even come across as like emotionally unstable. And even you having a Gemini rising, I thought that was interesting how it when you're not around other people, you know, your Virgo side comes out. That's really, really interesting. I've noticed, especially in previous interviews, all the Gemini risings I have, y'all are so animated and like you can feel that energy. It's contagious. It's really awesome.
Yeah. And you're a Gemini, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And what's your moon and your rising?
I'm a Gemini, so you know I like to be friendly and talk, but I'm a Taurus rising and a Capricorn moon, so I just want to retreat into my own man cave. And I like how someone put it, like I could either be very friendly and you know, very into communication and connecting with people, or I'm just into business and like putting in that work.
They're like business or nothing.
Yeah, like I'll be all friendly, but when it's time to go to work, I'm super serious.
Totally. I feel like I work really well with Capricorns when it comes, obviously, because they're just all about business. But sometimes it's like too much business where I'm like, all right, let's just come back down to earth real quick.
You work too hard.
and it's funny coming from a Virgo because I feel like I'm always working, I'm always doing something, but it's not always business work. It's just, I'm just doing work all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's funny.
That's a really nice delineation too. So where are you at now? And I heard you recently moved.
Yeah, so I'm in Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm in Oklahoma right now. I was like about to say Ohio. I moved from Ohio.
Oh,
and
nice.
Here right now, just got my place. We actually just got Wi-Fi set up yesterday. And I was like, oh man, like I hope I'm going to be able to be on this. But yeah, so
Glad to have you.
Yeah, totally.
I remember I saw a post you said how you're in Oklahoma, but you're around like holistic areas and there's like yoga studio. You just feel like at home.
Yeah, I feel like I attract that everywhere I go. I swear, anywhere I go, it's just like, oh, what you want's right here. Like there's a yoga studio across the street, a nutrition place, a smoothie place, there's Reiki, just everything. And I'm like, this is in Oklahoma? Cool.
That's magic in my opinion, because that's not easy to find either.
Yeah, no, seriously, like a Reiki studio.
Yeah.
I'm a Reiki master. And when I saw that, I was just like, wow, I didn't think a lot of people knew about that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool.
So you just hit a hot topic button right now. You said you were a Reiki master. So now you must tell us about the wonders of Reiki.
Oh, I'm going to tell you about the wonders of Reiki. Okay. Well, obviously, we all have this energy inside of us, that we can heal ourselves. And um, Western medicine and Eastern medicine, they can come in and collab with each other. And obviously, uh, hospitals do wonders, but I also feel like our bodies can do similar without hospitals. And I I love being able to use my own body to heal myself, realizing that I don't need medicine. I don't need to get a cure from a doctor or anything like that. And uh, I've been doing it since 2014. And it's just this wave of energy that you tap into, and it's all right here always. So like you can tap into it, I can tap into it. They say with Reiki that you need to be attuned to it, and I feel like in a way that is true,
Mm-hmm.
but in another realm I don't believe it's true. I think that's where my Gemini rising comes in. I have undecisive beliefs about that, or maybe it's my Libra, but anyways, I feel like we all can tap into it because we have that power to just create this energy of moving it all around our bodies and healing ourselves without medicine or anything like that.
I personally well, number one, I agree. Just like you said, we're awakening to a greater balance where we do have, there's a use for the traditional doctor hospitals that could help us stay in check, give our physicals. There's specialists that could really help us gain a greater touch into our organs. There is a place for this medical profession, but I love how we're awakening to this life of Reiki. I, like you personally, I don't believe you need to be attuned. I think the purpose for the attunement is to alert you to the fact that you can be aligned. And I notice the best attunements, they kind of hold space for you. Like they don't do it for you. They kind of show you how you can align yourself to the energy. But yeah, we all have Reiki flowing through us, and I've been skeptical for a long time about Reiki. Like I've kind of acknowledged that it's true, but I didn't realize how much power I have in my own hands. Like
Mm-hmm.
the self-healing, it always serves to show me like the work you put into healing is the work you'll put into seeing it. And one story I have as to how like I really started to really believe it. A few days before we put my dog to sleep, his hip was kind of broken. Like he couldn't really move that much. He couldn't move at all. Like he was just sitting down in the same position. So I just, was like, screw it, I'm gonna put Reiki on my dog, and I started like focusing on his hip, and then he actually got up and started walking, and that really tripped me up.
That's incredible. And those stories I love hearing about because it gives more power to Reiki and for other people to acknowledge that it actually does work. And a similar process or a similar story of what you just shared was kind of like mine. Like my two dogs were not hurt or anything, but whenever I was learning how to do Reiki, my teacher was telling me to do it on the animals, and I was like, okay. And I had two puppies, and they were sleeping, and I was like, all right, well, guess I'm just gonna get this ball of energy and give it to my dog. And I did, and I did it to both of them at the same time, and both of their legs started flinching, and I was like, whoa, like that's the energy. And then I moved, and they went back to normal, and then I did it again, and they would like flinch, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And I do it to my food too, just to send like healing intentions through my food as I'm eating it. I feel like there's a lot of people who do that, maybe in my world, maybe not a lot of world. Yeah.
Actually, applying Reiki to food is what helped me respect and understand why people pray and say grace before a meal. It's basically an effect, but only with Reiki now you can directly like actually focus that intention. And I just love the infinite applications that Reiki has. I would say my only flaw is that I don't really do it enough. I don't feel I do it nearly enough.
I like what you said about how it brought you to a better awareness about why people pray.
Yeah.
Because I have never really been into the let's pray or hold hands or give gratitude before I eat or anything like that. And then once Reiki came into my life, I was like, wow, like I get it. Like that makes so much sense. And honestly, for me, I mean, I could be even doing it more. Like there's sometimes where I feel something and I'll just like feel it instead of actually like applying the Reiki to it. And even with that knowledge in my head, you have to bring yourself back to, hey, you have that power to release that energy.
True that. Very true.
Yeah.
So, how did you get awakened into the spiritual path? What brought you into Reiki, astrology? It seems like you probably always known about astrology, but what got you to take your spirituality more seriously?
Yeah. Okay. Um, so what I'm really into is the mindset and helping people understand that these stories inside of your mind are false and you can uncreate them and recreate something different inside of your world. And 5 years ago, 2011, um, I I had a partner who I was dating for maybe 2 years, and it was a very toxic relationship. We had a lot of growing to do. We were not the best couple together, and we said a lot of hurtful names, and I started like devaluing myself and my self-worth and all of that to the point where I honestly didn't even want to be on the planet anymore. And I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in the universe. I didn't believe anything was really out there. I just wasn't sure. Like, of course, like in my head, I would think like, oh, what happens after death or anything like that, but I wasn't for sure. And this time, whenever I was really contemplating like just like ending my life or just not being here, I had this revelation of these thoughts inside my head. Like I was becoming aware of the thoughts and just looking at the thoughts, and I was like, whoa, these aren't mine. What are these thoughts? And yeah, so I got that awareness and I went to the computer and I searched what are thoughts on Google.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all I did. Like
Search.
I was crying my eyes out too, and then automatically I was like, huh, what are these thoughts? So I looked it up, got out of my negative mindset of wanting to just not be here, and I found my school that I went to, which is University of Metaphysics, and that's out in Arizona, and it completely impacted my life in this way that, I mean, if I wouldn't have went through that experience, I wouldn't be here.
You went to a school of metaphysics?
Yeah, I did.
I am so jealous of you. That is so awesome.
It was online and it's incredible. I loved it. They send you all these books and they help you learn to meditate and they help you with this mindset and realizing like it's all within. You don't have to look without. They give you affirmations and yeah, it's incredible.
That is really incredible.
People say that to me all the time. Like, wait, there's a school for metaphysics? I'm like, yep, you can find it.
The first time that I even knew such schools were possible was when someone told me about actual university in somewhere in Arizona. I'm not sure exactly where, but like they teach you advanced psychology, Reiki, meditation. I'm not sure if they teach astrology, but it was like an actual 2 or 3 year university where you'll get a certificate for, I guess, helping people in some counseling, getting actual certificate to Reiki too. It blew my mind, that stuff out here. In fact, that is one of my biggest dreams. Like I want to actually be the dean of a certain like college like that. Like
really, that's incredible. That you should definitely do that.
I want to have classes like where it like full out econ classes or history classes that mix astrology, like astrology and economics or astrology and politics and stuff like that. And then
yeah, I feel like astrology rules the world.
yeah,
I feel like astrology rules everything, and so many people are kind of so blinded to it, or just think it's that horoscope in a magazine or horoscope on your phone that comes from an app. And I'm like, no, it's so much deeper, and it goes into history and politics and everything and just research. And they're just like, no, I think you've just gone down the rabbit hole too far. And I'm like, all right.
I know I've gone down the rabbit hole too far. That's for sure.
No, I definitely have too. Like sometimes I've thought like, I mean, have you seen Zeitgeist?
Yeah.
Okay, so even that documentary talks about astrology and the Bible all being astrological. And I'm just like, wow, like I've never seen it like that. And that makes honestly more sense to me. But I don't really know what I believe in terms of all of that. But astrology in school systems, I think, would be incredible.
Definitely. I was mind blown when I saw Zeitgeist. Only beef I had with it was I later found out a lot of the claims they made, the sources they had, they weren't necessarily as legit. But it's one of those videos where even if they're not like exactly right, like you still know what they're saying is the truth. Like
Yeah.
basically the idea they're trying to hit home, it was still like the message was definitely cool. The Gemini part was cool, even if the Virgo part wasn't necessarily like all
Right.
on point with the facts and stuff. But yeah, that's a really great account of how you really got focused on this. I really like how you mentioned them teaching you how to meditate, because I used to hate meditation. I never hated meditation. I've just always been so lazy to meditate, but I can never deny its powerful effects. And once again, how it's helping me understand prayer and how it's really just all intentional focus and directing your will the right way.
Definitely. I still have to set intentions or set reminders on my phone to meditate, because if I don't, I won't. Because I like you said, I'm sort of lazy when it comes to that as well. Like, oh, I'm just going to sit here for 15, 20 minutes and I love it because it really brings me back to this state of presence. But there's times where it's like, no, I've got so much other things to do. Like, I don't want to just sit there and meditate. And obviously, that's the time when would be the best to do it, is when you feel like you have so much to do.
Yeah. And of course, how everything is within you. Like, I can understand that concept, but to really I can get the concept, but to really understand it and embody it, it's a very powerful.
It definitely is. There's times when obviously that statement of everything is within you. I know that. And there's been certain times in my life where I've completely embodied it and I'm like, oh my God, like, wow, it all makes sense. Like, you're me, I'm you, like, and then there's other times where you kind of don't remember that and you sink back into real life world. And
Yeah.
it's really interesting how life is.
Yeah. The concept that we're all connected is always going to be fascinating to me. There's always that part of me that wants, my ego that wants to believe in the illusion of separation, and that, no, I'm different, I'm unique, but I'm separate from you. Like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm better. I'm worse.
Yeah. Or like trying to compare yourself to another person when, I mean, your paths are different, but you're all going to the same place,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, let's play a quick game.
Games.
Nice. We'll take turns asking each other questions, and yeah, and it could be questions about anything. So you'll ask first, I'll answer, then I'll ask, you answer, then you ask the second one. And
okay, cool. So I'm going first.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. What was one of the most awakening times in your life?
Oh, that's a really good question. One of the most awakening times in my life, I would have to say, because I still feel I'm at a place in my life where I haven't fully awakened. I've kind of been enlightened to the world around me and to the fact that I need to awaken further. But I think one of the most awakening moments of my life was when the very first time I got my natal chart read, and I started to really get into astrology and studying it. And this was when I just started really understanding the zodiac and how everything falls into place with each other. And basically, how I got to know what I know now. And that was such an empowering period because it really, for the first time, helped me place faith in something. Whereas before, I was struggling for the truth because I was like, damn, I always thought, what I was taught about Jesus was real. And now that I don't know, what do I do? I had dabbled into a little bit of African traditional religion with this one mentor who ended up just being in for the money. So that made me even more skeptical. And ironically, he helped open my mind because he was telling me about how, religion isn't really the most enlightening thing. And he's actually the reason why I learned how to read tarot. But he had told me that, oh, astrology is fake. It's not real. And, after falling out with that and embracing astrology, embracing other tenets of spirituality like tarot, and hopefully I want to learn palmistry much better. That I feel that was like my first step into it. I felt initiated, I guess, spiritually into some ranks.
I love it. That's powerful, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
My question to you is, what is how do you feel about the generation above you compared to the generation below you, and how that dynamic relates to you and how they relate to each other?
Great question. So the generation above me and the generation below me.
Yeah.
Okay.
The older and the younger.
Okay, so and how they correlate to each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
And how you feel about both of them and how they impact you too.
Okay, cool. So the generation above me seems to want to work all the time, like jobs and 9 to 5s and all that. And some of them understand the internet and some of them are just like, what do you guys do on the internet all the time? And then the generation below me is more like, they're more rebels, and it's like, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing this. Yeah. What rules are those? Like, you're crazy if you think I'm listening to you, because that's not happening. Yeah. And it's like a complete opposites, and it's funny because my mom is actually obviously above me, and then I am this generation where
we're like the bridge.
Yeah, we're like all into the internet and social connecting and all that stuff. And I feel like sometimes we don't really see eye to eye with that and what we're doing, but we're all obviously doing our part on the planet. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just feel like we're kind of growing into this new way of connecting in the world, realizing that, hey, like some of us, like a lot of the planet and the world is going to the internet. And if we want to connect with other people, we can connect with them there. And it's not a bad thing to connect on the internet and to be, let me rephrase that. Being consumed into the internet and making it your life might be very ineffective. But if you're making social connections and then you're meeting them in person, like that's incredible, And I think that that's where the older generation needs to understand, but then the younger generation needs to see like, hey, they did put in the work and they did do this, and like they worked for it in a very different way than we do.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Let's see. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
Oh, wow. Okay. If I can go anywhere in the world. Mm, it's funny because I was reading in my I don't know if it was in class or in a marketing book, but they had given people they had noticed that people who won free vacations. No, it wasn't in the marketing book. It was this spiritual book actually. But people who won free vacations, they only went like 4 hours out of where they were. And
Really?
yeah, it just showed how, not everybody has this awareness of the world around them. So it's an important question. I think I really need to sit and think myself. I feel like if I could go anywhere, I would. I'm honestly not sure, but I have always wanted to go to like not just like France or Paris, but like that whole uh area in Europe, how you could take the train to Spain, France, Germany. I would like to like tour through there and just see what that's about. Even though it's not the safest for people of color, but
I
still,
hear it's really romantic and lovey out there. I want to go there too.
yeah.
Heck yeah.
See how the I'm sorry. I feel like there's another answer to this question. I just can't remember right
And why?
now. Right? Oh my god.
You picked up on it. Cool.
Yeah. And I didn't want to say anywhere in America, just so it would, yeah. But yeah, I would say I've always wanted to go to Paris just to check it out and see what Germany was like too. But not necessarily just like those places, just like the whole Europe area. See what's good there. Um my second question to you is, where do you think humanity is spiritually, and what's the next biggest issue that we're set to like
Beautiful. Beautiful question. Okay, so humanity spiritually right now, I believe we're all becoming aware of certain things that are happening in the world. We're all waking up to something. And anywhere that I go, I know that I can share about the stuff that we're talking about freely right now. And some they'll understand, or maybe I can dive in or explain a little bit deeper, but they can grasp a lot of it. Before, it didn't seem like I could talk to anybody about this. If I brought it up, it was just like, what are you talking about? So it seems like right now people are really waking up, becoming aware of what's going on. We still have a lot of growing to do before it's like there, but who knows? Like, will we ever be there? Are we already there? And we just need to be here now.
yeah.
So, and then the next issue, is that what you said? The next issue that we need to focus on?
Yeah, or how, yeah, what is the next issue and how can we like grow through that?
I would say the next issue that needs to be focused on is, um, I would say the government. Uh, and I don't exactly know how we can fix that or anything, but maybe it's not the government that it is that I'm thinking about. I think it's just, it like spirals out in all of the world with the school systems and the media and uh, just everywhere, if that makes sense. Like jobs, all that, like whatever is controlling all of that and keeping it in place, and the society norms.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be focused on. And the way to really change that is for all of us to come together.
You're
Or
right though. Yeah.
yeah, or just like do your own thing and realize like, hey, like you have your own path and you can do you. But I don't know, like something has to shift there.
No, definitely. And you're right. The government has huge problems. Said so by people in the government. And
Yeah.
that's the biggest problem because the bipartisan thing we have, they won't come together. They
Mm-hmm.
won't come together, and the representatives that are supposed to represent us don't represent our best interests if they're not being controlled by some corporation they're lobbying for. So it's like,
Exactly. I mean, look at the president stuff right now. It's just like none of us really, in a way, wanted this. It's just and it's like, all right, choose. And it's like,
right.
really?
I never asked for this.
I never asked for this. I don't want to choose. And honestly, I feel like it's getting to this point where a lot of people don't even want to vote or
Yeah.
put their say in it, because it's like, do I even have a say anymore? Have we ever had a say? Do you just choose?
Isn't that crazy though? But like, if you don't vote, there's certain people who will feel like you're not a responsible citizen because you're not choosing
Mm-hmm.
between, like, you know
I
what I
had
mean?
I had someone say that the other day, because they actually asked me if I was voting, and they said, "Well, I feel like it's my responsibility as a citizen of the U.S. to vote," and I feel like it should be a responsibility for them to hear from us of what we actually want, and I don't think that they're listening or even want to listen.
It's hard for me to even trust the whole process. I mean, we're even literally coming out and hearing people apologize for rigging votes. So God
Yeah,
knows how much we haven't found out that they're keeping.
exactly. All right, my turn.
Yes.
Okay, so what are your thoughts about the afterlife or the right now life of what's actually going on in the astral realm compared to right here?
Oh my gosh, you just asked the best question ever.
Ooh, cool.
This is in a lot of ways like the World War Zero series that I'm doing right now, where I kind of talk about these nebulous forces. But to actually answer your other question, because I kind of like got a place when right at
You can go
asked.
whichever direction you want.
Oh, I definitely want to go to Las Vegas and Miami just because I get this. I heard it's really fun, and I just heard, I just get this vibe that I have to be there at least once. But to answer your question about the spiritual realm,
Oh, you answered that question. That's awesome. Okay, keep going. I was like, wait, Las Vegas and Miami? Okay, I get it now. He went back there.
Las Vegas is the spiritual realm, and Miami is the real.
I get it. I get it. That's funny.
So, yeah, the spiritual realm, I believe, overlaps this real physical reality. There's spirits that influence us on a daily basis, just like we have a government structure here. That's a reflection of an actual hierarchy in the spiritual realm. There's certain places certain spirits can't go because, I don't want to cling to these terms, but there are certain angels that beef with other angels or demons. There's certain places that a certain person can't go because their energy is so bright, it's so light, and they go to a place of darkness, and then they're going to come into problems in that place because of how it affects the spiritual realm. So I really do believe the spiritual realm is the it overlaps this real world. It's as real as this real world. People with their third eye open, they see beings. They're actually seeing the spiritual realm interlapped, with this real life. And like I said, we get influenced. Lust, that's a spirit. That's actually a spirit that'll probably try and influence from within, because you're still responsible for your actions. But this is why you got to meditate. This is why you got to center yourself. So when beings out there infiltrate through your thoughts, you think you're thinking negative thoughts, you don't know those could actually be malevolent spirits trying to keep you down because they're threatened by your light and they don't want you to shine. This is very important to be aware of the spirit realm. And I also feel like when you think of past lives, they're more so, like, I believe, like, you only have this present moment, but the past is the past in the sense where we have grown from that. We have memories, but I feel like there are certain other incarnations that are happening concurrently. There's parallel universes and realities, and we have different dimensions and universes, and this is where the spiritual realm kind of kicks in, and how this living reality is just an expression of the higher reality and ultimate nature of existence, which is all just one. It's all God's mind, Goddess's mind, the expression of that. And we're just like their cells within us, just like there are anthills that we don't pay attention to. There's higher beings that don't pay attention to all the little galaxies, which are just huge to us and so infinite. Yeah. Wow. How about you? How do you, this is my third question, but what do you feel about it?
Okay. I loved your answer, by the way. And, just like you said, I feel like it's all right here. And I don't feel like it's all right here. I know that it's all right here. It's all intertwined. And I've actually experienced it before. And I'm sure you have as well. Maybe I'm speaking for you. But I've experienced it where I'm seeing things that I know aren't earth realm and it's just the spirit realm, and I'm like, whoa, like this is happening, or entities are like clinging to me, and I know, like, even thought patterns that happen in my head, I know that thought isn't me, that's an entity taking over my mindset or trying to get into my mind, saying like, oh, you can't do that, or you can't do this, when really that's not me, that's something else going on. And as we say that as within, so without, or we're all one, like, yeah, that entity. See, I get really a little lost in this concept because I can go down the rabbit hole of, is everything me in a way? Because there's certain entities that are very hostile, where it's like, whoa, like, did we actually create that here? How did we create something like that? And I have to realize, like, just send it love. Like, all it wants is love.
So important.
Yeah, and send it back to where it originally wants to go, because it doesn't need to be right here. Or maybe it's teaching me a lesson right now, or something that it wants to show me that is still activated inside of my world. But yeah, I've had access to the Akashic records as well. Do you know about those?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so I had access to those at one point, and it's that's not awesome. That what?
I said that's really awesome.
It's a lot. And it's not that I don't have access to them right now, but I've kind of turned it off because it frightened me, because I was seeing everything from past to present to here right now, but it was all simultaneously happening. And I was like, wait, if this is all happening, then is anything real? Like, is any choice that I make right or wrong? Like, maybe everything that I want to choose is actually happening. And consciously in this world, I'm just choosing one of them. But in another world, I'm consciously choosing something else, but I'm right now more conscious of this moment. So I don't know, life, it's all really interesting, and I don't know if we'll ever know what's actually going on.
It's definitely a fascinating concept, and I like how you said how, you know, maybe, you know, a reflection of these entities could be you. In a lot of cases, a lot of negative, evil, spiritual entities actually are birthed from a specific person, from the residual anger that you've kept within you. So it actually manifested itself. It doesn't have a human body, so you can't see it, but the energy, just like energy is never created or destroyed, it actually goes somewhere. It actually does something. And I love how you mentioned it's important to balance it out by showing it love and actually, you know, so, I mean, just think about the entities created by all of us collectively, all are, that's why I believe so much in, meditation circles and doing energy work together. I think it's a very powerful concept indeed.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I like how you expressed that about how it's an energy. It may not have a body, but it was something inside of you, and now it's getting like projected out. I like that because it's so true. Like, I mean, our words are like spells, you know. So
yeah,
anything that's coming out, there's some form of energy, and it can cling to you if you actually bring it in.
definitely.
That's cool. I like that.
And I think how about what do you feel about astral projection and lucid dreaming? I feel like these are
Yeah. I used to astral project a lot, and I lucid dream occasionally, but I get really tired most days. But astral projection, I love it. It's incredible.
it is incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's just like, wow, like I can actually do this. I can come out of my body and adventure around, go wherever I want, you know. But I get, like I said about the tiredness, when I wake up, like I feel like I didn't get any rest or anything, and because I'm just so in this other world. But when I do astral project, everything is right here, you know, like nothing is separate, and that's what's really cool about it. I don't know what your experience with it is, but I don't know, like everything is right here. And then with lucid dreaming, um, I'll like wake up in my dreams and I'll say to people like, "Hey, like we're dreaming right now. Like I'm dreaming, but I'm aware right now." And the person will be like, "You're not dreaming. What are you talking about?" And I'll come back to this reality and wake up and wonder like, wow, was I just in a other reality and I told them that I was dreaming and they didn't believe me, and then I came back here and they probably think that I'm crazy now. Like I don't know. It's interesting.
That is interesting. Just like they say, you're probably so awake there, and then this is the dream right here, and the real. That it is like it forces you to ask, how real is this reality? You know? Um,
Right. Like what if I'm just in another dimension right now, sleeping, dreaming of this exact experience that's happening. But when I go there, I might not remember all of the details that's going on because maybe we can't grasp all of that. But I think I said this before, like I'm just so much more conscious right here of what's going on. But maybe I'm not so much more conscious right here. Maybe I'm just as conscious there, but I don't know, just right now I'm more aware of this. I don't even know.
Yeah, if anything, a good friend had alerted me. He said that the natural state of how we're supposed to be is that um, when you go to sleep, you're not even really supposed to sleep. Like as soon as you go to sleep, you're already in another realm, and we live multidimensionally. And when it's time to come back here, we're back here. But because we don't eat healthy, because we're conditioned to perceive certain things, you know what I'm saying? We don't get the most out of rest or sleep as we're supposed to. But
Yeah. Do
my,
you,
my oh
sorry,
no, go ahead.
do you think that, in your opinion, do you think that dreams are past lives and other realities and dimensions, or do you believe that it's our subconscious mind playing out things that have happened here and they just go into our dreams?
I believe that dreams are you going deep inside yourself, and it's your subconscious communicating you to you through symbolism and just telling you very important things, telling you things you may need to know. I also do believe that through the portal of dreams, you can gain access and information over previous incarnations. And it's just like that Pisces realm, like it just opens up so much that we can't necessarily perceive because we don't have that dimensional awareness that's
Mm-hmm.
open that we kind of need to have in order to kind of get it. But my last question for you is what are your three favorite zodiac signs, and what zodiac signs give you the most challenge?
Okay, so my three favorites are my three favorites are Aquarius. Aquarius have always been my best friends. Always, like since I was a young kid. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of their awkward weirdness, non-judgmental, I'm gonna do this different than you type thing. I love that about Aquarius. Gemini, love Geminis. I don't think I've ever not got along with a Gemini. I love that they love to talk. I love that they love to write. They're always, I don't know, they have tons of friends and connections. Love that. And the third one that
What was the first? Aquarius?
Aquarius,
All
yeah.
right, cool.
And then the third one that I love Sagittariuses, but they don't come in my world often.
Yeah, same here.
It's very weird. Like, they have all this knowledge, and every time I meet one, no joke, every time I meet one, I get this new perspective change where I'm just like, whoa, like, I didn't even think about it like that. And like, do you happen to know Heather Horton?
Heather Horton, no.
She's an astrologer as well. She's incredible. She's a Sagittarius, and every time I would hang out with her, she would.
I don't even know any Sagittarius astrologers now that you mention it.
Oh, you totally need to look her up. She's awesome. But yeah, every time I talked to her, she would share something where it just dived so deep where I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know that that existed. That's so cool. And she'll send me down the rabbit hole even deeper than I wanted to. And then the three signs that like irk me or like get on my nerves are Scorpios.
Oh, snap.
I love them. And can I actually tell a story real quick?
Please, go ahead.
Okay. So I don't know if you know anything about this, and maybe you can like touch on this because I don't know the full story, but I've heard that Virgo and Scorpio were actually one sign in mythology, and Virgo was so light and Scorpio was so dark that Libra came in and balanced it out and was like, yo, you're going to stay up here in the light, and Scorpio, you're going to go to the dark. And I see the love inside of both of you, but you guys just don't get along. So we need to separate you. Do you know anything about that?
I've never heard of that, but when you started saying that, literally before you mentioned the Libra part, I was like, that kind of makes sense because I could picture Libra being them being on each side of their scales and stuff like that. And
yeah.
I've always felt that Virgo was like a lighter version of Scorpio. And that Scorpio is like Virgo, but just more dark and intense and extreme.
That's actually interesting because they called Virgo like the virgin, you know? Yeah. And Scorpio's like they just love sex completely.
Yeah.
And I feel like Virgos do as well. It's just in a very different way.
Oh no, Virgo loves sex. I just feel like Virgo, because they're so on point and thorough, like I feel it's two things. One, I feel like they have a very big they value being proper. So there's a certain perception and attitude that they have during sex. I feel like they love it just as much as Scorpio. They're just not necessarily going to show it that way as much.
Probably, because I'm very intellectual about my sexual nature.
Yeah.
And I want to connect with the person instead of just having it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, so Scorpio, I love them, but I can only take so much of them where it's like, all right, you kind of got to get away now. You're very like poisonous to my energy. And then next sign, and I'm not saying that I don't love Libras because I have so many Libras in my life, but it's the next one that kind of like, it's like, oh my God, like so much of you can be a lot. It's always like, it's always just relationship problems or another person they're dating, and you know, like they're just always dating someone. It doesn't seem like they can be alone. Yeah. And I love being alone. So when someone can't be alone, I get this trigger inside of me where I'm like, why can't you just be alone? And then the third one, let's see. Oh, and I guess Pisces. I love them, have so many friends that are Pisces, but they're so all over the place. Like time, they don't care about time. They're everywhere. I mean, I've been saying to one of my Pisces friends for the longest time, like, hey, can you get this to me? And they're like, oh, I thought I sent it to you already.
Oh my
And
God.
this has been like a year, and
Yeah.
I haven't gotten it. I'm like, all right, like, can you send that now? Like, and I
Yeah.
swear it still hasn't happened. So, yeah,
They're
so
so bad with that. Pisces, another thing they do is like, yeah, let's go, and then they spend like an hour talking to everyone before we
yeah,
go. It's like,
exactly. I
oh.
didn't mention actually instead of Pisces, even though Pisces is up there, Leo.
Oh!
I
Nice.
I love them for a certain amount of time, and then it's like, wow, you're a lot of energy, like spotlight on you type stuff. And I've heard in the new astrology, which I'm really into. Nice. I've heard in the new astrology, which I'm not really into, the one that has a zodiac sign that's like
A
Ospernicus.
fucus?
Oh,
Yeah.
Fucus.
No,
Yeah.
that's not even real. I
Yeah,
feel
I
you.
don't I don't believe it, but in that one I would be a Leo, or in Eastern astrology I would be a Leo as well.
Yeah.
And I've never resonated with it. So
Mm-mm.
I think that's why I go by this astrology more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
So
Western is definitely the astrology, and that's not. I mean, that's not to diss Vedic or the 13th sign, because actually, sidereal Vedic is relevant. Like there are tenets of it that are true, but it just kind of correlates more to a universal. It's more for the collective consciousness. The astrology we study doesn't is not based on the constellations. It's based on the sun. The sun always rotates. I mean, sorry, the Earth always rotates, but the sun will always move a degree, and we're always going to have Capricorn as the winter solstice. We're always going to have Cancer, so it's tropical because it's seasonal. That's kind of where we get the essence of these energies. But I'm glad you brought that up, because even a fucus, like I don't believe that it's a sign, but I believe it's a real energy. I think it's a decan within Scorpio and Sagittarius, but not necessarily its own zodiac sign. Just my opinion.
yeah, I never really looked into it much, except the fact that they told me I was a Leo, and I was like, no, I'm not. That's funny.
Yeah, we were just remarking in the comment section how for the first time in literally like 20 episodes or even more, you're the top 3 that you didn't hate, that you hated, you didn't put Virgo. Like every single other person that I had, I swear to God, like this is episode 33, 30 people had put Virgo on their shit list.
You know why? Because I actually should have put Virgo in there, honestly.
I think I interviewed a Virgo who put Virgo there too.
I don't get a lot of Virgos in my world, but the Virgos that do come in my world, um, I love hearing their perspective, because Virgos have very cool perspectives,
Yeah.
but sometimes they're just so like, it's got to be like this, it's got to do this and this, and for me it's like, yo, I'm doing it my way. So if it's not like this like this and like this, then we're not doing it that way. So yeah, Virgo as well, actually. I just named like 5.
Right? Breaking the rules. Now, the reason why I love Virgo, because I have Taurus and Capricorn. So I love Virgo because you guys like you have the right perspective. Like when everyone, the reason why I love Virgo is because I know I can talk to them and they're going to keep it real. Like they're always going to correct how it should be, and point out how much this person does not know. And they'll give you the details of why that person is wrong, which could be annoying. But when it works because it just feels like, damn, like I needed that reality check. And you guys are just so good at that.
You know, they say Virgos are very judgmental, and I'm gonna correct that. like,
Yeah.
like Virgos do. I don't necessarily think that they're judgmental in a way where they want to hurt your feelings. It's more of like, we just know how it can be better.
No, definitely.
Like, it's never okay. So if someone were to be wearing something that I didn't think looked good, I would never be like, that doesn't look good on you. Like, I don't know if that's judgmental or anything, but I
The
feel
word is critical.
critical. Yeah, we're very critical. We say, hey, like, if you wore this instead, it would probably look better.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that's judgmental. It's just kind of like keeping it real.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
the real judgmental ones are tourists. And I've heard this from a tourist too. Like he acknowledged it. He was like, tourists are usually pretty open-minded, but once they hit 30, like they're whatever they believe forever. And they are the most judgmental sign. The only reason why that's not bad though is because they are judges. Like they are meant to judge character because they express value. But
I've actually noticed that as well, Taurus to be like a very judgmental sign. And I have tons of Taurus as friends as well. Actually, I have a lot of Tauruses as friends. And maybe it's because it's an earth sign in my world as well, but they're so earthly. Like I'm very earth, but I'm so astral realm as well. They're so earth where it's like
materialistic.
yeah, and I'm not exactly into that.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of logical answers where sometimes I don't want to hear the logical answers.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they make it make sense to me, and that's why I like them. And I have double Taurus in my world. Not me, but tons of double Tauruses where it's like Taurus sun and Taurus rising, or Taurus sun and Taurus moon, and I'm just like, goodness.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
What zodiac sign would you date? Like, what's your preference?
I I want to date a Gemini. But every Gemini that I actually have tried to date, it's like we're so free flowy. We go off and venture, and we're never like stay put with each other. It's like, hey, like
Yeah.
like we meet up for a little bit, and then it's like, all right, bye. Like,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
just everywhere else. We never like to stay put or like settle down. But definitely Gemini. And my seventh house is in Sagittarius.
Uh-huh.
So that's my partner house, right?
Yeah, that's your partner house.
Yeah, so mine's in Sagittarius, and I think that's why I love them so much. They don't come in my world much, but anytime they do, I get this whole new perspective where I'm just like, whoa, that makes so much sense.
I like to see them as the light. So thank you so much. This was an awesome peace talk. Do you have any last words of advice for anyone who wants to get into spirituality? And do you offer any readings and services? And if so, how can people contact you?
Awesome. So yes, advice. If you want to get into this world, just go for it. The thing is like if there's people that are in your life that you know are in a way holding you back, or you're holding yourself back by staying with them, you just need to like let them go, do what you want to do, go on your path, because no one else is going to like get you to do this, you know? Like you've got to do it yourself. You've got to make something of yourself and create the life you want. Like, you know, we all have this gift and this message inside of us. So share that with the world, or it's going to be left inside. But yeah, so services that I offer, I am a Reiki master, like I said, so I do provide Reiki. You can contact me at awakealiveaware@hotmail.com. I also do have Instagram, which is Awake Alive Aware. And there's a Facebook group and a Facebook page that's the same, Awake Alive Aware. I have a course actually coming out very soon with my friend Griselda. And it's this incredible experience where we go into our mindset of all the stories that we've created inside of our world, and we reframe them and rephrase them. So all these, not necessarily negative, but the experiences that we've had in the past that we still have hurts over, we go back and look at them, and we look at them from a different view and create a new story, which is incredible. And you'll get to live into that story of what you're creating. So that'll be coming out in November, the end of November.
Okay.
And I'm excited about that. And I'll give links to that. And yeah, so you can also find my blogs at briemarie.life. Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm excited about that course. I'll probably most likely be a part of that as well. And I
Ooh,
have the links to your Facebook and your YouTube channel in the
yeah.
description box below. Make sure you go check them out, y'all. And yeah, until next time in Peace Talk, stay blessed and all peace.